You can see here, like, you know, in China, they're so good that you can just pick people out and know something about them.
길거리에 지나가는 사람들을 선택하기만 해도 그의 이름과 생년월일, 통장 잔해까지 보인다니 이야기만 들어도 섬찟한 게 사실입니다. 그런데 이런 일이 중국에서는 실제로 벌어지고 있습니다. 개인의 자유를 침해하는 게 아니냐며 들고 일어설 법도 한데 중국인들은 이를 당연하게 여긴다고 하는데요. 이런 중국의 상황을 미지근한 물에 들어가 있는 개구리로 표현한 중국 학생의 이야기와 각 나라의 자유와 투표에 대한 개념 이해의 차이를 함께 살펴보시죠.
In her country is the king. It's a monarchy. It's a fairly small country, right? Like, I mean, it's a large country, but there aren't that many people because it's mostly desert.
Yeah, like compared to the US, it's
very small.
Big,
Yeah. The king and the people around the king are deciding on the rules. So there's no elections to speak of. I mean, if there are elections, they're sham elections, right? I mean, how much say do you have in the government and what goes on in the government, the rules? Hold the mic really close.
I don't think like us as citizens like of Saudi Arabia, like we don't have like opportunity to vote. I don't think like that's a problem. Like that's like how it's been since forever.
Yep.
And like we're used to it, but like once I got to the US, like I noticed, like there's something such as voting. And like even in the hub, sometimes they're like, do you wanna vote? I'm like, no, I'm not a citizen of the United States, so I don't know. They're like, oh, okay. Like I'm just there to like get the free food that they have to like vote.
Yeah.
And then just like leave.
What matters is there are some rules in your society, like rules here, like drive on the right side of the road. You all drive on the right side of the road, right? Don't break the speed limit too much, right? Don't be drifting in the middle of the city streets because drifting is probably a big thing. There's certain things you do and you can't do, like you need rules. Everyone needs rules, like we need rules. So for example, we have rules about attendance. If we didn't have rules, you all would just do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, no, we can't do that. Like, we're going to follow some rules here. And so every society needs some rules. So you have this king, the monarch, and this group of advisors, which is, fairly significant, and they make these rules.
Yeah. And I think like most of us, like as Saudi citizens, are like satisfied with the rules. Like I don't see anyone like talking like negatively about them. At least like from my opinion and like the people around me.
Okay, so it's like no people aren't talking about. So this is King Salman on the right, who's going to be stepping down soon. Am I right?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, he's pretty old, so. And that's his son on the left, MBS. The crown prince, this is his oldest son. So he'll become the new king. And okay, so and the president has a network of people around him who is making the rules.
Yes.
And the rules are implemented by a vast bureaucracy, which in your country you call the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Okay, here we don't call it that. There they call it the CCP, okay? But it's the vast bureaucracy. It's just you're connected to the CCP. And people in the CCP are appointed, they're hired, and they're sometimes elected.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Sometimes elected.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, how does it work there? Like you...
So, like, there's one question that you asked her before, like how much we think we have influence on like some of the decisions on maybe like some laws or elections or whatever happening in the government. Like my personal experiences are like there's not much that we can influence on. Maybe a law can be passed or a certain individual is going to be in what position. And like so what I'm being like what my experience is that people in the government get to a certain position because of them knowing a lot of people that will support them in the government or have a lot of money that can and could do that. Yeah.
Which is similar to Saudi Arabia,
yeah.
which is similar
So-
to the U.S., by the way. But like this is, some cameras. Like, we think like we have cameras. You think you have cameras in Saudi Arabia? Check it out in China, man. Like cameras everywhere.
Yeah, so, well, I've talked about this in my Word in Conversation already, but there's an analogy that I use that we used in China. Like, so when you want to eat a frog, when you want to boil a frog, you first put it in warm water instead of just hot boil one. At first, the frog will not think there's a lot of danger, but when he realized, then it's already too late. So that's why, the surveillance thing has been slowly around
Yeah.
since we're born.
Yeah, before you were born.
Yeah, well,
so,
even
yeah.
before we were born, but it just got even better and more.
In China, they're so good that you can just pick people out and know something about them. Like, so you're walking across the street here in State College, and someone can just be watching and know something about each person, man. Okay? I mean, it's not as far-ranging as it could be, or maybe will be, but who knows, right? But this is somewhere about where we're at. Okay?
Yeah, even especially during COVID, even if you are wearing a mask or something, they can still have facial recognition and know who you are and your name, date of birth, even how much you have in your bank account and something like that.
Yeah. Really interesting is, so these two people, they're watching carefully what they say. This is out on YouTube. They could say the wrong thing, and someone's going to be contacting them saying like, hey, why did you say this, or why did you say that? That's just the nature of being part of their society. So now the question becomes, that I'm wondering is like, well, is there anything you really want to say that you can't say? Or is it like, yeah, I can't say a lot of stuff, but I don't really need to say that anyway? Like he can say, Joe right here can say, yeah, my president, Joe Biden, he's an idiot, right? Go ahead, just say it.
Let's go, Brandon.
All right, exactly. He can say that, but they can't say that. There are things they can't say, or they will get a phone call.
Some comment that I say might seem like I'm not very patriotic, and they will grab that idea that you are not patriotic and post it somewhere and say like, he's not a real Chinese. Like he's one of those.
Like a traitor.
Yes.
Traitor to the.
Yes,
yeah.
like.
Or what about other people who would say, you're not speaking critically enough. Like you should take this opportunity. Other Chinese who would say, you should take this opportunity and tell people, like you should speak the truth.
Yeah, like people might think that there are a lot of stuff that we cannot do in China because of this government, because of surveillance or whatever. But we can do a lot of things. Like
Okay, hang on. Don't go there yet. Go to the next slide. Here's your president, Xi Jinping, right? Who, by the way, just, he had you get 5 years.
You got
another 5
term,
years.
yeah.
He and his advisors just decided, hey, they're going to just give him another 5 years. So he just started his 11th year. They just changed the Chinese constitution to give him another 5 years. So here's your party congress, happens every 5 years, right? These are people making decisions. This is a lot of it's like 5,000 people or something, right?
Yeah, so like representatives from all of the provinces and a lot of the cities and like some local.
Right? So it's like we have Democrats and Republicans, and there you just got one party.
Yeah, like maybe there's only this group.
Yeah.
And there's no different groups like here that we have.
Okay, so you can't do those things. So you're going to follow your life. You have a different life back there. And how is that life compared to your life here?
I haven't been back home for almost 4 years now, so it's going to take some time for me to adapt to the way of living back home. But I would say like life back home and life over here in the US have both their benefits and some of their downsides. and there's something that I can get in China that I can't get here, like very nice food, cheap, or some like really cheap stuffs.
중국인 학생의 말처럼 각 나라에는 장단점이 존재합니다. 이 강의를 보고 나니 언론의 자유, 민주주의가 있는 한국의 장점은 무엇이 있나 곰곰이 따져보게 됐는데요. 지금부터 소개해드릴 20대 청년 배범준 씨는 콩쿠르에서 상을 탔을 뿐만 아니라 유엔의 초청을 받아 연주까지 했습니다. 그런데 그에게 숨겨진 특별한 사연이 있다고 하는데요. 한국 사랑으로 유명한 펜실베니아 대학의 샘 리처드 교수가 배범준 씨의 가족을 미국으로 초청해 정말 특별한 강의를 진행했습니다. 강의실에 있던 수많은 학생이 감동하게 된 그들의 사연, 지금부터 들어보시죠.
Hey, today's a really, really special day because we have three very special people who are with us today. And we, in the past 2 days, have become friends. We're calling it invisible cultures. So, Bae Bom-jun and Bae Ji-soo and Kim Tae-young. So, if we could say have applause. Yeah. Tae-young, how old was Bom-jun in this photo?
He was 4 years old when he took this picture.
Yeah, he's such a really cute young boy. Yeah, and what would you say? What would you say about this amazing human? What do we need to know?
범준 군은 만 3살 때 외부 충격에 의해서 뇌 손상을 받았어요. 그래서 지적 장애를 갖고 있습니다. 그때 당시에 그 충격으로 실어증을 갖게 되고 기억 상실증을 갖게 되었는데 기억 상실증은 나중에 다시 돌아와서 얼마나 감사한지 모릅니다.
How is it to be his mother? You can speak in the microphone. Repeat, say it in Korean in the microphone what I say.
이 세상의 모든 어머님들은 참 훌륭하시다는 거를 새삼 느낍니다. 저는 분명히 엄마인데 거기엔 해당되지가 않아요. 그래서 사실 여기 계신 분들은 물론이고 제 자녀한테 꼭 하고 싶은 말이 괜찮아, 우리가 있어, 이 말인데 사실 제가 제일 듣고 싶은 말이기도 합니다.
So Bom-jun is very talented in many ways. He drew, you can see who that is. So he drew that the other day for me, and not only you got the earrings right too, and not only he started on the violin, right?
Yeah.
And then he moved to the cello,
Yes.
and then in piano and flute, right?
Yeah. He loved music. Yeah. So he say cello like sounds like grandfather, and piano he sounds like his friend, and flute is like an angel. Yeah.
When did Bom-jun first start really focusing on peace and love?
두 돌 지나서 장래 희망이 뭐냐고 물어봤을 때 두 돌 지난 3살 때부터 평화를 사랑하는 유엔 사무총장이 된다고 했어요.
2 years old?
네.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
살기 전에 싸우는 장면 드라마나 만화 영화가 나와도 껐어요.
When we were both in high schools, we went to a protest for looking for the right that high school kids should have the voting rights as well, and she was there to protest for the right. It's kind of a story that highlights her personality in her youth.
He works on behalf of young people in Korea, on behalf of disability rights for all young people in Korea. So he has an organization that they started called Awesome, and he's the ambassador at KED. It's Korean. I didn't write it down, but it's Employment Office for Disabilities. think, yeah. And performed at the UN for International Day of People with Disabilities.
범준이가 자신처럼 중증 장애인들을 위한 모금을 하고 그 모금한 돈을 그 장애인에게 선물하는 걸 좋아했습니다. 네, 그런 것들을 위한 단체를 2016년도에 만들었습니다.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the moment when you bow. Can you? Yeah.
My name's Mike, but Caitlin is my sister. She has special needs, meaning that she needs help with certain things. Her specific, a thinner complexion is one, it's the innocence. It's the very happy, very smiley, just pure joy. And I think that's very special about people who have developing issues or special needs. It's just, my sister is very smiley, very happy all the time. And when she's not, you know it. And so it's really cool to see, one, another person who's, who has special needs. And two, I can just see the relationship between him and his sister is very similar to like a relationship that I have with Caitlin, because it's really tight, it's close, and it's cool how you guys interact, because it reminds me of my relationship with my sister. Special needs, it's just, my sister is very smiley, very happy all the time, and when she's not, you know it. And so it's really cool to see, one, another person who's, who has special needs, and two, I can just see the relationship between him and his sister is very similar to like a relationship that I have with Caitlin, because it's really tight, it's close, and it's cool how you guys interact, because it reminds me of my relationship with my sister.
배범준 씨는 샘 리처드 교수, UN 초청뿐만 아니라 정의란 무엇인가라는 책으로 유명한 하버드의 마이클 샌델 교수에게 초청받아 하버드에서 연주한 적도 있었으며 2018년 평창 동계 패럴림픽의 무대에도 섰었죠. 첼로를 통해 세상과 교감하며 전 세계에 장애가 있는 이들에 대한 인식 변화를 위해 노력하고 있는 그의 활약에 새삼 감동하게 됩니다. 오늘 영상 재밌게 보셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드릴게요. 감사합니다.